This video is about the scientific definition of the word object. When this definition is applied to the black hole championed by mathematical physics, it becomes clear that the black hole does not qualify as a physical object. Theoretical physicists dismiss physical interpretations as petty philosophy. Theoretical physicists have ended up with a totally distorted view of what exists in the universe and of how it works. They have concocted a surrealistic universe containing inexistent cosmic objects, a wonderland of fantastic rabbit holes where unimaginable phenomena occur. Absolutely all physical interpretations that mathematical theorists propose for invisible phenomena such as light, the workings of the atom, electricity, magnetism, and gravity are without exception irrational. A mechanism is irrational if the proponent simulates the phenomenon with reified concepts such as field, mass, time, energy, or particles that are actually functions and values. It is as a result of substituting objects with mathematical concepts that astronomers today search the night sky for inexistent spirits such as black holes, wormholes, Big Bang, dark matter, and dark energy. When confronted with their irrational explanations, when it is pointed out that their qualitative descriptions don't make any sense, most mathematical physicists brush aside these criticisms, stating that physical interpretations are not part of their job descriptions. The misconception has evolved that the job of a theoretical physicist is circumscribed to developing and describing with equations. But then, why is it that these champions of quantitative analysis attempt to provide qualitative interpretations to their equations? The answer should surprise no one. If the theorist cannot relate the equation to the real world, without a physical interpretation to an equation, the work of a theoretical physicist is absolutely worthless. Why? If causes, mechanisms, and physical interpretations are not part of physics, do mathematical physicists bother to explain the workings of black holes to the world in qualitative terms? What is undeniable is that after decades of fruitless search, researchers finally gave up on physical interpretations of invisible phenomena and long ago delegated the task to philosophers, ontologists, and metaphysicists. Two prominent theorists summarize what has now become the worldly wisdom. Do not keep asking yourself if you can possibly avoid it, but how can it be like that? Nobody knows how it can be like that. The more you see how strangely nature behaves, the harder it is to make a model that explains how even the simplest phenomena actually work. So theoretical physics has given up on that. Richard Feynman, Nobel Prize in Physics, 1965, during his Feynman Lectures. I am now convinced that theoretical physics is actually philosophy, since the development of special relativity theories were replaced by more abstract models. Max Born, Nobel Prize in Physics, 1954, in his book Einstein's Theory of Relativity. What Max Born didn't seem to realize is that abstraction is the antonym of physical. Theorists are no longer doing physics. Physicists have become abstracists. In other words, rather than making assumptions about the likely invisible and tangible mediators, theorists abandon the search for explanations and today engage in the irrational practice of explaining physical interactions with mathematical concepts such as mass, field, energy, and time. In effect, these reified abstractions ended up replacing the angels and spirits of traditional religions. It is axiomatic that physics requires an object. Physics is first and foremost a discipline that deals with objects. What would be happening without things? What entity would we be observing? What is it that is moving? Indeed, if experiments are an integral part of the scientific method, what experiment can anybody run? What measurement can you take without a body? Hence, the first word you absolutely must define in physics is the word object. And yet, not a single textbook of physics ever written begins by defining the strategic word object. Theoretical physicists have inexplicably delegated the job of defining the bread and butter of their discipline to the philosophers, to people who have no stake in its meaning. Over the centuries, the philosophers have grossly misconstrued the definition of the word object. All dictionaries and encyclopedias define the word object more or less in the same ways, essentially as that which you can see or touch. One fatal problem with these two criteria is that they are not universal. Not all objects can be seen, not all objects can be touched. You can't see the air, for example, despite that it is made of atoms. No differently, we should add, than a table or a chair. And you can't touch the asteroid at the other side of the universe. Nevertheless, it seems logical to reason that if all atoms have shape, anything made of atoms should also be categorized as an object. Another fatal problem is that two objects are required to mediate either see or touch, rendering the definition circular. Hence, the see and touch criteria widely invoked to define the word object is irrational and has no place in physics. We will not discover the invisible, intangible mediators Mother Nature uses to do her daily work through experiments, measurements, observation, or equations. Indeed, it is ironic that the abstraction known as black hole does not even qualify as an object under any definition out there today. It cannot be seen or touched. It is not made of matter and has no shape, dimensions, or volume. And without matter, there is no way to justify mass. The description of a black hole turns out to be the perfect definition of absolutely nothing. Let's define the word object as that which has shape. All objects have shape. Shape is the only universal property of objects. We'll leave it up to skeptics, devil's advocates, and naysayers to identify any exception. This definition can be used consistently, rationally, scientifically.